Okay guys, so today is a very special day because I have a client here that came all the way from Barcelona and she's had such amazing results with her nails, and I'm going to make another video because I've been thinking about making that video and I have amazing pictures before and after. So she used to bite her nails quite a bit and they are absolutely perfect, and this is all her work, and this is incredible how the nails are looking. I actually just wiped this one with acetone, so normally it's not as dry looking, but take a look at this. Absolutely perfect. So today we're going to do a very simple manicure with my favorite Dior Nail Glow. So I'm going to shape the nails, and the shape is actually very good for her nails. So this is the shape that I normally recommend. This is the strongest shape that you can do because when the nails are very square, usually the corners break off, and when they're very pointy, they're just usually too long for an average person. So I'm probably gonna just shorten them a little bit. Probably I'm going to do a dry manicure, but I'll show you probably how to also do it at home without the electric file, because I usually use electric file. But you can see, like, my goodness. So she also uses carousel, and it shows because the skin around her nails is so nice and soft. You guys have to see the video with her progress, because this is absolutely incredible what she's done. So I'm going to explain how I shape the nails because I still get a lot of questions how to shape the nails. So normally I shorten them as much as I want, and then I go underneath the white. So what I'm doing is I'm not really filing into the pink part. So you want to file the white part, but you don't want to be filing all the way up to narrow the nail. And some people do that in order to achieve a more narrow look, but that's really damages the nail. So here you have to go very lightly and just smooth this area. And by the way, and I say that in many of my videos, but people are still asking because, like I was mentioning earlier, not everybody watches all the videos. This is why I explain everything. I try to explain everything in each video, but it's absolutely okay to file back and forth, because what really matters is the grit of the file, really. And don't be afraid to use a coarser file if you are shaping or shortening the nail, because you can always go with a softer file after, or you can go with a buffer to soften the edge. Because if you are shortening or shaping with a coarser file, it's easier, it's quicker, but the edge is going to be a little sharp. So what I do is you'll see I use a little buffer to smooth the area, and then the nails are nice and smooth. And by the way, you know, I know a lot of people like glass files, and they're great. They last a very long time. They're very safe. They don't have sharp edges, so they're great with people that, you know, diabetics. But they're not really any better. They don't seal anything. So they're not any better than any other file that way, because people think that they have some, I don't know, magical powers, that somehow they are preventing the nails from splitting, which I really don't find that's the case. So I like to use these files because they are very thin, so it's easy for me to get underneath here without really putting a lot of pressure. But everybody is different. We all have different preferences when it comes to tools, and this is why I try to show people how I work with different tools, because first of all, not everybody has the same tools, and not everybody is able to buy the same tools. So it's good to know, and it's good to see how different tools can be used on the nails successfully, because there's no such a thing as a perfect file and perfect, you know, cuticle pusher or perfect cuticle remover. It's whatever you are comfortable with. It's just like with, I don't know, other things in life. Makeup, some people like one thing, others like another thing, or even, you know, pots and pans in the kitchen. Some cooks prefer this, some prefer that. Okay, so I normally recommend doing the manicures once a week. But again, everybody is different. But the reason why I recommend doing it once a week is because then every week you really don't have a lot to do. You are basically maintaining the nails, and it's so much easier, so much quicker, and it's just easier to do. And then I recommend maintaining the skin around the nails once every couple of days, especially when someone is prone to that skin overgrowing. And I'm gonna explain all of this when I'm removing the cuticle. So I always compare the nails side to side. You know, nails are never exactly the same, so you just try to get as close as you can. For some people, it's actually easier if you're polishing your nails to shape the nails when the polish is still on. So this is something you might want to try if you wear polish, to shape the nails when you still have the polish on, and then take polish off, do the manicure. And I always recommend taking a day or two without nail polish to prevent any surface damage, because it can happen with any nail polish, even with Dazzle Dry. And by the way, I just had a person who emailed me with quite a lot of surface damage recently. Well, actually, it's not as recent. She was saying it's been happening for a while, but especially on her thumbs. And she is using Dazzle Dry. And it turns out, like, I started investigating what's going on, because that's pretty rare. Like, I mean, it can happen with Dazzle Dry, but it's not that common. And it turns out that she uses 3 coats of Transform. And I think that's probably, maybe it contributes to that surface damage. I think that the surface is just very, very hard of the coating, and possibly that can add to the damage of the nails, because she's doing everything else right. She's taking breaks between the polishing, she's doing warm oil soaks. So this can happen with any nail polish, even with Dazzle Dry. So don't think that you don't. That's just my advice. Don't think that you don't have to take breaks even with Dazzle Dry. All right, so let's talk about the skin. I'm gonna use this wooden tool. This is actually the best for people to use on a regular basis, because it's very soft and you can't do a lot of damage. So I suggest just pushing back that skin very gently every couple of days, just like this. As you can see, I'm not separating a lot. I'm not pushing this tool underneath, because this is a seal. So you want to be, you know, respectful of the seal. This is your body's way of protecting the nail matrix, where the nail root, where the nail is growing. So if you jam tools underneath there, you can cause damage. So this is very, very, I'm doing this very, very gently. And done on a regular basis prevents the skin from sticking excessively to the nail plate and dragging along with it, because a lot of times people are, you know, having issues with that skin being overgrown, which they think that it's the cuticle that's being overgrown, but it's not the cuticle, but it's the living skin. So we have 2 pieces of skin here. We have the living skin right here, and then the cuticle, it's actually not really even visible. So I'm going to grab this tool and show you what I mean. So this is very, very thin layer of cells that's on top of the nail plate. And if someone uses the carousel, and if they're taking care of their nails, this usually there's less cuticle, because the urea and the salicylic acid is an exfoliant, and that skin is not as it's not excessively on the nail plate. Now I find that this builds up the cuticle, I guess, because once the nail is growing, you know, you're touching the nail, so eventually the skin cells fall off. But especially if you have a shellac on your nails or the nail polish, I guess what happens is there is just like a layer of a coating, and then when you're touching, let's say, the nail, you're not getting to the cuticle, and there's always more cuticle when people wear nail polish or shellac or gel polish, or even whatever they're wearing. So if someone does not wear any nail polish, I find that there's just less cuticle usually. So this is what you can do. I've showed this in one of the videos, so you can definitely do this. So the reason why I'm removing this cuticle is because we're applying polish, and the polish is not going to stick very well to skin. So it needs to be applied over clean nail without any cuticle. So I'm going to do the same thing with the electric file, because this allows me to also exfoliate the skin very gently. But as you can see, like when this area is cared for, there is barely anything to do. So manicures are super, super easy. Now I keep hearing that people call, or they're calling this cuticle exfoliating, which to me it's a little bit incorrect, because we are not exfoliating cuticle, we are removing the cuticle from the nail plate. And at this time, here now, I'm just exfoliating the skin, because the exfoliating is not really a proper term for removing cuticle. I know it sounds a little bit better, but it's not accurate, because we exfoliate the skin in order to encourage healthy skin growth, right? So this is not what we're doing with cuticle. With cuticle, you are just removing dead cells from the nail plate gently. And then with this bit, you can exfoliate the skin. And this has to be done very, very gently, because you don't want to be creating inflammation. And this is not removing dry skin, because I get these comments quite a bit too, saying that I did not remove dry skin. Well, dry skin cannot be removed. Dry skin has to be repaired, and you cannot repair dry skin by filing it, when you think about it. When you have dry skin on your face, what do? Well, actually people overdo exfoliation as well, trying to remove the dry skin, but that's not how it works. Actually, ask any dermatologist and they'll tell you, if you have irritated dry skin, you don't want to be doing a lot of rubbing. You want to be actually protecting the skin barrier and not disrupting it even more, because that exfoliation is very, very temporary. Like, it feels good very temporarily, because you're just going to irritate the skin and further damage the skin barrier and cause even more dry skin. So I can only exfoliate a little bit to freshen up this area, and then the client needs to take care of the dry skin at home. And of course, if you don't have this machine, and I don't recommend you buying this machine if you're just doing your own nails, there is absolutely no need for that. When you take care of your nails, there is barely anything to do. And if you have any hard spots here, I'll show you actually. You can grab a file, set it right here, so not like this, but right here, and very gently just go like this. And then just feel for that area. If it's smoother, leave it. Don't look at it if it's dry or not, because again, we're not trying to correct any dryness. We're trying to get rid of the, well, reduce the hard skin, just so it doesn't drive you crazy, right? Same here. Very gently. Again, I'm doing this with the tool, which this is actually exactly the same grit that I'm using. It's just the tool is much more precise, the electric file, but you can definitely do this at home like this. But this is not a solution, again, for the hard skin. The solution for hard skin is using proper creams to soften the skin. But there are, I mean, we work with our hands, and there are sometimes little pieces that drive people crazy. So this is how you correct it. So now I'm going to just smooth the free edge, and I'm not going to really buff the surface too much. I mean, probably, no, it's not necessary. I can see that the nails, that there was no cuticle left. So I'm just going to smooth the free edge, and that's it. So now, nothing in life is black and white, right? So very often I say that, you know, I tell people not to use buffer blocks, and then they see me using buffer blocks. So there was buffing and there was buffing. There was buffing to just very, very lightly remove the shine, and you can do this, and I'll show you how much. And just basically you would do this the first time. Can you see how there was just a little bit less shine? And this improves the polish staying power. So if you want the nail polish to last, you can do that. But you have to be very, very careful, because if you overdo it, you're gonna thin out the nail, and you're going to then have a very weak nail that nothing will stick to it. So a little bit of defiling is sometimes necessary, especially if people want the nail polish to last. But you have to be very, very careful, because I see majority of people that write to me and that they complain about having very damaged nails, or very weak, sorry, and peeling nails, is because they all have very, very overfiled and damaged nails, and this is why it's happening. So there was a piece of skin here that I wanted to just snip. And that's it. The least snipping, the better. So I'm going to use just pure alcohol, well, 99% alcohol, and wipe the surface and also the free edge. So what I do is with my nail, I kind of get into the little grooves to make sure that everything is clean and that there is no dust on the sides there. So now the area is going to be dry, because obviously we just wiped the skin around the nails and the nails with alcohol. So it just looks, but this is very temporary. So now Dior Nail Glow. So this is a pretty new bottle. If you want to watch, there was I'm going to make a very quick video about something very interesting about the Nail Glow that you have to see. But anyway, so this is a newer bottle. So I usually do 1 or 2 coats. So we'll see how this one dries. Usually with new bottle, you might need 2 coats. So when I do 2 coats, they still dry very, very fast. I really don't know any other product that is as good as this, and it's much cheaper. I really don't, because I find this is, first of all, it has a very good brush, which makes it much, much easier to work with. It dries very, very quickly. Oh, there's a bubble here, which also is good. It looks very, very natural, and this is what I like about this product too. It's not too blue. Because some of these products, and a lot of people like them, but a lot of my clients, they just find that they look weird outside. So this one is the more natural looking, and also it doesn't fade or it doesn't yellow as much. There are some of the products like very similar to these, to the Dior Nail Glow, but they, after a couple of days, they tend to yellow. The polish itself yellows, so that doesn't look good, because when I take the polish off, you can see that the cotton is like yellowish. And a client asked me a very good question: if you need a base coat and top coat for this product, you could use the base coat and top coat, but this product is designed to be used as just like a quick coat, so you don't have to. But I've never used this product as a base coat, really, because it's kind of a waste, really, because it's such an expensive product. Okay, so as you can see, this is not very, very shiny. Now, for some people, it's a perfect look if they want very, very natural looking nails, but I'm going to put another coat. Yeah, so I wouldn't use it as a base coat. Actually, the Dior base coat, the apricot base coat, has some dimethylurea, which is a very nice hardener, but I don't know I have to actually write to them and ask them if they're going to tell me what the percentage of the dimethylurea is in their base coat, because that's the thing with ingredients. Sometimes there are ingredients, but we don't know how much, if it's actually an effective amount. I remember C&D had a product called Toughen Up. If you guys remember that product, please let me know in the comment section. And I don't know why it got discontinued, because it actually was pretty good. So that one it was one of the first products that I remember that had dimethylurea, and it had 2%. So I would say that the 2% is an effective amount. I've heard that from chemists, so not just people that write silly marketing. So they say that 2% of dimethylurea is effective in hardening the nails. And the good thing about dimethylurea is that it doesn't over harden the nails. It doesn't make them brittle, so that's good. Okay, so this took me like 23 minutes. So we're gonna dry the nails for like about 2 minutes and we'll be right back. So actually I started doing this little demo for my clients, because what I show in my videos is different what I do actually on a regular basis. So 1 drop of oil, this is what I do. Ideally after each hand wash, and it makes such a huge difference. So very quickly it rubs in, it's a very light oil. You can actually wipe your hands with a towel and you're done. It took me, what, 5 seconds. So this makes a huge difference, because when you are washing your hands, you're washing off all the protective oils from your skin. So then your skin obviously is going to be dry. So you have to do this ideally after each hand wash. But now, because we've wiped the nails with acetone and everything else, I always put 1 drop, and this way it just kind of soaks in nicely into the skin. But then, you know, without explaining, people think that this is what they have to do every single time, and they just obviously not do it because this is too much oil. So I'm going to take a picture outside, because this looks just like a clear nail polish. It does look a little bit brighter, but it really looks brighter outside. And people are asking me if there is anything like this in the Dazzle Dry line. No. They have some like almost clear polishes, but none of them has that brightening effect, sadly. This is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.